A very good evening to all our viewers on Globespan 24/7. We want to welcome you again to our Monday night program here on Globespan. I know we are working on a title to our program, and we will let you know in due course what our title would be as we keep informing the Guyanese at home and abroad of events going on at home. We want to thank Nohar Singh for making this platform available, and of course, Devin Bisu, our specialist for broadcasting around the world. This evening, we are very honored and privileged to have with us three of the outstanding mayors in Guyana, of the three largest towns. Of course, we have the mayor of Georgetown, the mayor of Linden, and the mayor of New Amsterdam. I think the mayor of New Amsterdam might not be on at this point, but I'm sure she will be on to join us very shortly. So Mayor Ubraj, Mayor Waneka, welcome to the program tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Mayor, your mute is on, Mayor Ubraj.
Thank you very much for having us on your program. Thank you, Doctor.
And the last time we spoke with Mayor Ubraj, we couldn't see him, but tonight we are so honored and privileged to see him.
Yes.
The mayor of New Amsterdam will be on shortly, and we want to welcome her when she comes on the program. And of course, my co-host is Dr. Rose. Dr. Rose, welcome.
Thank you, Charles, and welcome to all you mayors.
Mayor Waneka, you are the chairman, the head of the Mayor's Council in Guyana.
The Association of Mayors.
Of Mayors, excellent. And you're also from the mining town of Linden?
Yes, I am.
Would you want to tell us, our viewers, what is the state of the Linden Town Council at this time?
Well, good evening, everyone. Just one moment. Good evening, everyone. And thank you so much for having me on the program. To all the viewers, and I know a lot of Lindeners is on tonight, and the municipality is trying to look for the right word. I think we're in a state where at this point we're trying to balance. The council has been around for a while, but we have not reached a stage where we have an administration that fully understands what's happening and how to manage. So there are some difficulties that we're facing. There are difficulties we're facing with local government commission, with the new government in place and their interest in local government and local government development. And so there are some setbacks, but I do believe that as a municipality that we have been balancing well, and we look forward to see more development within the township as we work together with the people of Linden. Your mic is muted, sir.
Feedback. Yeah, they didn't do that because you get feedback normally on this sometime. But Mayor, does Linden have also village councils in addition to the municipality?
The region itself has village councils, but not in Linden properly.
Okay.
So,
all right. And now to Mayor Ubraj, the mayor for the largest city in Guyana. Mayor, what's the state of the city and the city council?
Well, we are here in the city battling because I believe that we are trying our very best to bring things together to the level of the city council, but we are getting a showback from my subject minister, which is the Minister of Local Government and Regional Development. Only today we had passed the 2021 budget this afternoon. We had a numerous debate on the said budget, and also a littering bylaws we passed in principle so that it can able to go out there and be published for the public to make the recommendation, input and output, and then we will vote again on that, make the amendments, and send it to the Honorable Minister to have him to sign off on that bylaw.
Okay, Mayor, so I'm glad your budget has finally passed. I know the first time you had the budget meeting, there was no quorum. And so today you finally got the quorum to pass the budget.
Yes, the reason why we didn't have the quorum where I was made to understand the budget was sent in soft copies to the councillors, and many of them did not aware of the such said meeting. So today everyone received a hard copy, and we were able to have that quorum and pass our city budget 2021.
Okay, mayors, I want to ask the two of you, Mayor from New Amsterdam is not on yet, but I went through the Municipal and District Council Act, Chapter 2801. What I see in that act, there is really no authority of the mayors of these councils except to chair meetings and to sign off on the minutes. How can a mayor function effectively if you're in charge or given that responsibility? And we were talking to Mayor Waneka earlier before the program started, and you have no authority to get things done on your own. Why do you don't put your strength together and approach the local government commission to change some of those laws that basically give the council very little authority? Mayor Ubraj, you want to go? You're on mute.
Okay, good. Let me answer you very clearly. I'm happy, Dr. Sugrim, that you went through the 2801 and you find that for yourself. I'm really happy you did. It's not the local government commission has to deal with this. It is the local government minister who have to deal with such an issue. He is a part and parcel of the legislation of this country. He's a legislator, in fact, for local organs in this country. And the Constitution stipulates very clearly, Section 77 stated that the local government minister shall empower the local organs, and changes need to make to the 2801, upgrade the bylaws and implement new bylaws to suit modern problems. You need modern solution for modern problems, and that is what the legislators, they're failing to do. And I'm happy that you recognize that the mayors in the 10 municipalities of this country just sitting there and chair meetings and do not have any executive authority. Our authority lies at the council. But a mayor should be like in New York. You're familiar with New York, and even if you look at Port of Spain, the city of Trinidad and Tobago, you look at Jamaica, you look at Barbados, you even look at the UK, United Kingdom, the laws have been changed because of modern time. It's for development, for the people. It is for a broader aspect for the citizens in the city. So I'm glad that you recognize such, Dr. Sugrim, and I advocate as well for that in the previous government and in even this government. But I don't know what is happening.
Yeah, but before Mayor Waneka comes on, but Mayor Ubraj is, I don't want us to cast aspiration on this current minister, because this act was passed almost 100 years ago, and that has been the rule of law since then. So no government, whether it's the British government, whether it was the PNC government, whether it's the PP government, that Act 28, Chapter 2801 has not really been changed to give the mayors authority. So what I'm asking Mayor Waneka, if you're the chairman of the Council of Mayors, would you put together a team to look at changing 2801 to give some teeth, so mayors can have some teeth to running their municipality?
So definitely, the laws are antiquated and needs to be changed. And it would take, as you say, it would take the Council of Mayors to have that happen. In 2019, just before COVID hit 2020, We did meet at the first ever Mayor's Roundtable where we highlighted what the issues were that we had with 2801. What are some of the things we thought needed to be changed? And then we needed to be able to come back together and to sit down. In 2018 or 2019, I cannot remember, and it's not clear, we did start to sit down with the Ministry of Communities where they brought a team in for us to sit down and work through the 2801. I think it was a project through the Canadian government. I can't remember clearly. So that process to look at revising the 2801 had begun. It, however, is in standstill at this point. But there is a need for the Guyana Association of Municipalities to come together, to sit down and to decide, because while each of us can speak separately on the issues we face as councils, because we are not executive mayors, the voice and the oneness is what would make the move and the change. And regardless of what political parties we're from, that oneness should be left, that oneness should be carried so that we can have the changes done. Because if Georgetown stands up and Linden stands up, that's only 2 out of 10. We need everybody to come on board and to say, these are the things we need to do. I do know that we are in the process of planning a meeting of the Guyana Association of Municipalities, and that meeting will discuss what are some of the things we want to change, but more importantly, what do we want to change and how do we intend to get it done? Because just throwing something out into space doesn't get the problem fixed. We need to carry a proposal to the ministry, and then the ministry is able to take that proposal up to cabinet or parliament to get that vote passed. So it's not going to be easy, but it's something that even if we don't change it while we are here, because I know our stint ended in December, it's something we start so that the next group of mayors coming in is able to pick that up and to run it.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. I don't want to meet Dr. Rose in a minute, but Mayor Waneka, in speaking to the other mayors, are you getting the impression that they are on board to change some of the articles in 2801?
Definitely. I think one of the problem we may have is a lot of mayors are not necessarily reading, but we have a few who knows, understand, and they're willing to have to make some changes. And this is across the board, whether for those mayors are from PPP elected municipalities or APNU AFC elected municipality. There is a feeling that they're ready to have that change, and for us to move forward.
Thank you. Dr. Rose?
Yes, mayors, good evening. And I would like to focus on a particularly important issue. And this to all our listeners. I know most of the people in Guyana are not aware that you mayors do not have a full-time job and you're not being paid. You're being given a stipend of, I think, $75,000 a month. Now, that system has been bequeathed to Guyana from the British years ago. The British had a similar system where mayors were not being paid. But what I want to tell the audience tonight, in 2002, the British government amended that law, and the mayors are being paid in United Kingdom, in Britain. They have 15 city mayors, and I think 7 metro mayors. For example, the mayor of Cambridge is being paid £75,000 a year. The mayor of London, £152,000 a year. The mayor of Liverpool, £110,000 a year. And if I go to the cities, they range from $60,000 to $82,000. Now, you cannot have a part-time mayor, and the government ought to know this, and you cannot have a mayor off a stipend. They're not going to do the work as they're supposed to do. And you're opening up these mayors now to be corrupt. I'm not saying you guys are corrupt, but if a mayor is not being paid, you're opening up them for corruption. Now, but the question I want to ask you all, do you think the law should be amended in Guyana for mayors to be full-time and to be paid a salary? By the way, the mayor of London makes £152,000 a year. The Prime Minister of England or the UK makes £174,000 a year.
Thanks, Dr. Rose. Let me be very clear, and I want to say our job as mayors is not part-time. That is the first thing, because in the 2809, 2809, Section 9, stated the following office holders shall be full-time officers of their respective local democratic organs. A, the mayor and deputy mayor of any city or town. We're full-time officers. We're full-time public official, but without a salary or payment. We only receive a stipend from government. So we are full-time. It is here very clearly. 2809, Section 9, stated very clearly, highlighted there, right? That the mayor and deputy mayor of any city and town are full-time. And it also stipulate, no, let me go on, please. It also go on that the minister may order prescribed, if any, to be paid to local organs, to be any officer serving full-time. The minister supposed to make this representation for mayors and deputy mayors to get a salary of all the municipalities of this country.
Mayor Arrindell, as head of the Mayors Association, don't you think you should get the mayors together to lead a delegation to the government, let them know the time has come for you all to receive payment, since you all are full-time workers based on what Mayor Narine just said, and they should amend the act. Britain amended their act way back in 2002. Why is Guyana not amending theirs?
Well, I can't speak to why Guyana is not amending theirs, but I definitely know that this is fact, this is in law, and we need to be able to look at it. We have to, and I agree, as an association, we should all come together and be able to look at the issue. And share, please excuse me. Good. Sorry, my battery just almost died. Yes, as the Guyana Association of Municipalities, we do need to come together and to address these issues. But I do believe the issues must be addressed holistic. And so it's not just about the salaries, it's also about it's going to be the salaries, it's going to be our executive rights, it's going to be duty-free concessions. There's so much things that mayors are not getting. Mayors are seen in this country as though they're just rubber stamps. And so there's far more for us to approach the government with. And of course, once we get the support of all mayors, we're definitely going to make that approach to the government so that we can move forward. But definitely mayors will also have to understand, because we'll have to be able to give more, give of our time, give of our energy, because things are not as easily said and done as it is. Once we start this discussion, we're going to have the continuity of this discussion so that we can carry it to the end. And this discussion will include also, Dr. Rose, we're going to have that reevaluation of that 2801 that is antiquated. We're going to have to talk about it. We're going to have to remove some things from it, because if we're going to become executives, if we're going to be paid for executive positions, the powers that the local government commission now has to be minimized so that mayors will be able to function the way they should.
Okay, Mayor Arrindell, thanks. Now, the Linden Municipality was established in April 1970, which means that it's over 50 plus years old. The 51. City is 51. The city is actually broke. Yet, you granted amnesty to defaulting taxpayers on their interest. Why you did that?
Do you know, we get more payments when amnesty is granted. There's amnesty in the month of our birth. There is rebates in January where people get 10% off of paying $80 a year. And this has been decisions that were made from previous councils. I do not think this municipality has stepped to remove it, because some persons' debts were so large that we'd hope that during the April month, where they get the 1 month free, interest free, they'll come in and pay off their rates. It doesn't help us at all financially, but it's something that the council did not necessarily look into, because we felt as though it helped those persons in our community who did not have a lot. to find that time to come in and pay. And it has worked for the council previously, so it's been going on for years.
Mayor Narine, the City Hall is currently bankrupt, which means that you are spending more money than what you're taking in taxes. The city owes $100 million to garbage collection contractors, $400 million to NIS, $20 million to retroactive salaries and so forth. In other words, you said that the city is $5 billion in the red. What are your plans to make the city solvent?
Okay, quickly, I can tell you at this point of time that the salary retroactive is already paid since 2020. Credit union already paid off, and we are up to date with credit union. NIS is owed since 1994, and the records are there to show. These things I inherited. Garbage collectors, we owe more than 100 million to garbage collectors, and that is since prior to my time, took the oath of office of the mayor. That is way before my time. I can say to you that rates and taxes or general rates cannot run the city council alone. You have to seek other avenues for revenue to come into this council so that we can able to sustain ourselves. Bear in mind, the boundaries of Joshua had extended, and no one take that in consideration while we receive the same taxes. But Dr. Rose, if you give me a few minutes, I want to explain something to you. If we have a proactive ministry and chief valuation office, we will able to get our right taxes, because every year, every 5 years, according to the 2804, chapter 2804, Valuation for Rating Purposes Act, stated very clearly, section 4.5, that every 5 years, the chief valuation officer, with the direction of the Minister of Finance and Local Government, ought to pass a resolution in Parliament to direct him to upgrade or update the list of NDCs and municipalities. Since 1996 was the last list. So you have all this skyscraper going up in the city, while people still paying $6,000, $12,000, $25,000 a year. But if you really want the city to move forward, revalue the properties according to the laws of the country, and then we can able to see a difference, and then you make noise. But at this point of time, we're not receiving our right rates and taxes, and we're not getting our right revenue because the chief valuation office failed to update or upgrade that list, the valuation list that had updated since 1996, 20-something odd years. However, in the markets bylaws of the 2801 stated very clearly that every port of the city, ship, boats that land in the city council must gain a percentage on those landing fee. I want to say this much. I lobby for that, and it never happened. I continue to lobby for the same. If we ought to get all of these monies, we will able to label the city council with a different picture. But at this point of time, you cannot label the city council. I thought that, yes, as a normal individual, city council is not doing nothing. But being in its seat, knowing the laws now, the city council is definitely been stifling at this moment.
One more question before you come in, Charles. Mayor Narine, you claim that the city is owed $8 billion in unpaid taxes and fees for properties. Giffland Mall, you said, owes over $100 million. Houston Estates, hundreds of millions, amounting to almost $600 million. these are delinquent business owners. Why not expose them in the papers and drag them into court?
Well, yes, I did that before, and we do have a court matter which is currently appealed by our attorneys. And however, those appeal will go to the full court so that we can able to bring the defaulters to justice for the city. Those are our records, and I speak based on our records of the city council that I have in my possession. And our attorneys are working presently to appeal those certain ruling of the Honorable Chief Justice. We are working to appeal some of those rulings. But however, Dr. Rose, if strict measures and strict laws form against tax defaulter, those people, those businesses will come forward to pay their taxes. Guyana, and you read 2801, we do not have authority to turn up to a business place, to close it down or shut it down. We have to go through the process with the courts and so on, which will take lots of time. We have cases in court since 1996. The Honorable then Prime Minister Hamilton Green and Mayor was fighting for this city. So we must understand the laws that we operate under. It is outdated and needs some kind of upgraded and to move forward with a modern city and Guyana for the development of the people.
Quickly, a follow-up. How you allow a company, a business to owe you all this money?
Okay, quickly, let me explain this. These are things I inherited, and as mayor, I come to represent the people. These matters there for many years, where in 1995, somewhere in 1995, 1996, the council had introduced 21% compound interest. That then the bank used to charge compound interest on the money that we borrowed at City Council. No one ever changed that. So every day, your capital or your normal money that you ought to pay is compound by 21%. And that is how it reached to that level there. But the council rectified that now because the bank is lending money to the council in simple interest. So we rectified that only recently, and in our budget, we rectified that to 18% will be charged as simple interest now. We will help the business sector and resident, and that will encourage them as well to come forward. That is my little explanation for those mountain of taxes. But beside of that, government ministry, government agencies, private sector businesses continue to owe the City Council.
Okay, Charles, over to you.
Mayor Waneka, do you have the same problem in Linden?
Definitely we do. We have the same problem where we have about $300 million owed to places like NIS, GRA, electricity. We owe salaries, back pay, and all of that. But I think one of the major problems, and I'd agree with the mayor, the problem is it takes so much money to carry people to court that sometimes you're paying more to take them to court than what they owe you. With $20 and $80 as fine in the 2801, it's ridiculous. And so sometimes it costs so much to take them to court that sometimes you just look at it another way. There is, however, the solution for the introduction of municipal courts across Guyana. If every municipality can have their municipal courts, then we can have days where we can specifically deal with those issues that affect municipalities. And the finances garnered from the decisions made will come to the council. At this point, if we take someone to court, we're paying the fine, we're paying the cost to take them to court, but all the monies will go to the state. So these are all things that comes back to us looking at the 2801 and going through it and changing the laws that are there so that the municipalities themselves can get the finances they need to develop. We also have the issue of areas that are not handed over to the council. And so there are communities that we're servicing, but those communities are not paying taxes. And so those are all some of the issues that we're faced with at this point. So because they're not reevaluating, what the municipality is suggesting is that we go towards payment by the community, where every household will pay a fee for services offered through the council, and in that way we're able to garner some more funds at this point that we do believe would help us to be able to sustain, because our expenditure far exceeds the income that we garner.
You know, mayors, I really empathize with you guys because you have inherited a system that seems to be moribund, if that's the right term to use, because it's really limping along, where even though 2801 has its shortcomings, 2801 also gives the council a lot of authority. So Mayor Ubraj and Mayor Waneka, Section 202 of 2801, it says every council shall be the rating authority and shall have power to make levy rates. It's 204 says the rate shall be sufficient to meet the expenditure of the year. So I don't understand why a budget is made and the expenditure is known, but the council cannot raise the revenue to meet the expenditure when the Act, Section 204, specifically says that the rates that you institute will be sufficient or should be sufficient to take care of your expenditure. And it also went on to say, Section 205, if the rates are insufficient, you can have supplementary levy on properties to capture that missing revenue. So Mayor Ubraj, as Mayor Waneka just mentioned, I don't want to blame you guys. As you said, you inherited a system where I think previous councils missed the ball. Why don't you use the authority given to you?
You're not blaming us, sir. I'm happy that you raised that question, and you may not understand what this section is clearly saying. 202, and that deal with rating purpose. Now, let me explain. It will need some time. The council fixed a rate, which this council, the city council, had done from 40% to 44% now residential, from 2 something to now 275 commercial. So 275 is presently commercial. Now, I can raise my rate next year again to 300 for commercial. But when I add the 300%, when I get the valuation for the property, it would not make any sense, because the property has to be valued by the valuation office stipulated in 2804. And that has to be upgraded. Now, if the valuation office do its job, and the same 275 I have presently with commercial, which is a commercial rate, and I apply that 275 with the right valuation, I will make millions in the city. I will be able to run the city council. But if every year I have to up the rating, the council have the authority to levy the rate from 275, I will raise it next year to 400. Then the other year, 500. You know, I will come down for criticism from the private sector, but no one is linking the rate with 2804, which you have to get the rate in valuation from the chief valuation officer. So if the rate now is, let me say the rate is $6,000, the property is $6,000. You have to take that $6,000 and you multiply it with the council rate, which is 275%. That person will only pay $16,500 a year. So this part of this 2801 link with 2804 for rating purposes.
Mayor Ubraj, let me stop you if you don't mind, and I know when you want to come in. What you said there is correct, except to tell you that the Act gave you the power, the council, it gave you the power and the authority to raise enough taxes to pay your expenditure for the current year. So to tell me that the valuation officer is not doing his or her job, that's one thing. But the council can raise your rates to cover your expenditure for the year. So what is the problem? Mayor Waneka, maybe you want to join in there.
No. I want to clear up this. The rate can be raised if Dr. Sugrim, if you're not getting the point, I don't mind. The rate can be raised, but the valuation has to match the value of the property. And
No, I get that, Mayor. You're saying that the valuation guy is not doing his job, his or her job. And I understand that. Maybe the council of mayors should take the valuation officer to court and force him or her to do their job. Because the act specifically says, as you mentioned earlier, every 5 years a valuation must be done. So if that office is not doing its work, then the council of mayors should take that office to the court and force the person to do the valuation. Mayor Waneka, you want to jump in there?
So everything Mayor says is correct, and I agree with you. We can levy and raise the rates. What we're doing in Linden is that at this point we're having community consultations. We are in the process of creating a database, because as you know, we have not had the door-to-door done to know the amount of residents we have, the amount of households. As we do that, we're asking where we have to do, because all these things can happen, but it must happen with community consultation. So we're meeting with the public, we're sharing out a questionnaire in the near future. It should happen by next month, where we explain to the public what our dilemma is as a council, and then we're going to state to them where and what we'd like to raise. At this point, our proposal that we're raising $500 per household per month, and that would give us at least $6,000 per household per year. And of course, we start at 5, and it goes up based on the fact the size of your building, if you have an upper floor and a lower floor. So while it can happen, it takes a process to happen, because we as the local arm have got to make sure we educate the people about the process. We tell them what our budget looks like, what we're going to be doing with the finances that they're going to pay, and then we can start to look at how we're going to implement it. So we have started the process. It will take a while, because I don't know about the rest. Linden is special. People need to have knowledge. So we can do it. It's not that we're not doing it, but it's definitely going to take a while for us to get it done.
Okay, Dr. Rose.
To you, Mayor Arrindell, you said you like to make Linden become a model town because of its scenery, its richness in culture, sports, resources, bird watching, sightseeing, lakes and mines, and many other outdoor activities. You have been there for 4 years now. What have you done to make this a reality, or at least to start the process?
If I really have to be honest, I'll say very little at this point. More so, we came into this council, everybody was fresh and new, and there were so much internal changes. However, we have begun the process of transforming Linden. We have increased the tourism aspect of Linden, working with the Region 10 Tourism Association of Linden that was just started, in highlighting the sceneries, the lakes, and the mine-out areas. We have been able to do and recreate our historical sites. The vision is that we wanted, because Linden is a transit town, we wanted to have all of our signage and our history in different languages. And so we have started that process with our sites. We're working with the Region 10 Tourism, who are going to more so help us look at the lakes and the mountains and the tourist activities that is happening. We have redesigned, we have refurbished our bandstand, and one of the things we want to do is to have a community band, because if you know, Linden is very rich in culture. We've had music being one of our strongholds, and so we're trying to redevelop that aspect of Linden while we recreate it. We have started to look into community spaces. I don't know when last you've come to Linden. There are no community spaces, there are no open spaces where persons can exercise, where a person can just go out in the afternoon to relax. It's so different from Georgetown, where you have the parks and persons can just walk and stroll. We are in the process of redesigning those areas So far, we're looking at 3 areas to create, and we're working with the Centennial Committee of Lynn Mine, where we're looking to create a centennial park that would lend to that support. So there's not much that we have done, but we have started the conversation, we've started the writing of the project, and we've started very small projects along the way to see how we can eventually move Linden to where we want it to be.
Okay, this question is for both of you. Both Linden and New Amsterdam have a series of problems. In both cities, well, Linden is a town. In both municipalities, their roads are in shambles, and in some cases, sinking. Trenches are being eroded. Garbage is being dumped everywhere. And their only burial site, the Appentier in Georgetown and the one in Linden, I forgot its name, are a disgrace. Overtaken with bushes. Mosquitoes in Linden, I was told, everywhere, as in Georgetown too. What are your plans to eradicate these problems?
There's so much problems mentioned.
Who wants to jump in first?
Mayor, your mic is back on mute.
Sorry about that. I will go first, Dr. Rose.
Okay.
There's lots of problems in the city of Georgetown. You make mention road, bushes, mosquitoes, and so on. Only recently, the Honorable Minister Bishop Waneka holded a meeting, virtual meeting, to launch a campaign cleaning up for our 55th independence anniversary. However, we was not invited as a city. But I was told by a good source who attended the meeting that the minister blessed the city council about having the roads in a terrible state, the parapets and so on. I had wrote this minister on the 17th today, 17th of May 2021. The outstanding taxes that owe to the city council are listed here, sir. It's over 200 million Guyana dollars. If I to get that money, you know how many roads and bridges and trains the city council can clean, and alleyways? It is right here. Everything is right here. Over 200 million. You cannot give me $500 from the Georgetown to go to Linden and expect to return back to the city with $500. We will have to understand this logic. Unless we get our monies, we will not able to move forward with certain development that you make mention. We will not able to move forward with it. And I write the minister, please pay me, pay the city council, honor your obligation, and pay us this money so that we can able to have clean and clear in the city. We can able to launch our campaign as well for the 55th independence anniversary. We must be realistic when we come to these matters. I thank you, Dr. Rose.
Mr. Arrindell?
Yes, I think we need to focus on what the problem is. The problem is, one, the municipalities, and not only Linden and Georgetown, across this entire country, does not make enough capital to sustain itself, to pay its staff, and to provide the services it should. That's one. Two, we've got to be very specific when we talk about roads and drains. There are lots of roads and drains, especially within Linden, that comes under the Ministry of Infrastructure. The other issue with Linden is that communities have been handed over to Linden without the complete infrastructure in place. And so what we received were half-baked communities that the government itself did not complete before they gave us the carry-out services. And so the onus is on the government, and this is not specific, any government who sits, to complete the task in the communities for which they should. Our municipality do not build roads because we do not have the finances it takes to build roads. What we do is make minor patches to roads that have been damaged. The other concern to raise also, Doctor, is that The roads are now being built substandard. They're being built without drains. Their soakways are badly placed. And someone told the engineers that they can pave the bottom of soakways, so they've become irrelevant. All of that means that water is being lodged on the roadways. Linden is a transit town, so there are heavy trucks passing through the town that damages those roads. All of those are issues that the council itself cannot deal with. So while we work on our minor roads, the onus is on central government and the Ministry of Infrastructure to make sure that they, number one, hand over communities that are complete in terms of their roads and other infrastructure services. Right now, the municipality is now helping to putting light in. A community should be handed over with all of that in place to the municipality, and then the municipality helps to sustain that community. That is not happening at this point. Also, the government, sorry, go ahead.
No, go on, Mayor, go on.
Also, the government gives a subvention for capital projects. There's nowhere in the world $18 million for a year can suffice any capital project within the township. We have an issue at this point with the Ministry of Local Government, who has decided that of the $80 million, they would like us to build 3 roads. It takes $75 million to build 100 feet of road. There is no way the finances given by the government in terms of subvention can suffice for these activities. And so it goes back again to our rate, it goes back again to how much money the council makes, and it goes back again to making sure when the government hands over communities to municipalities, that they're handed over complete, so that the municipality's role is to make sure that we maintain.
Dr. Rose, you don't mind, and mayors, we want to take a short break now. When we come back, hopefully, we also have the Mayor of New Amsterdam to join us live as well. So we take a short commercial break.
AllFromOneSupplier.com has all your grocery needs, plus all of your West Indian items. Purchase all your groceries and all your West Indian items from one place and get free delivery to your homes and free shipping. AllFromOneSupplier.com has free deliveries locally in New York and free shipping to all U.S. states. Our shoppers choose the best items, packaged nicely, and delivered to your home. We have all your grocery needs and all your West Indian items, a one-stop shop. So place all your orders on allfromonesupplier.com or call 718-551-3292. That's online at allfromonesupplier.com or call 718-551-3292. Get all your groceries and all your West Indian items from allfromonesupplier.com with free deliveries and free shipping to all U.S. states.
Guyanese around the world are invited to join the Guyana government in an interactive virtual diaspora conference, a new era of engagement for the Guyanese diaspora. It's your chance to ultimately get involved in Guyana's economic transition. May 22nd, 2021, from 9 hours. Register now and get involved. This inaugural conference will be streamed live on media platforms via Zoom. Visit the Ministry of Foreign Affairs website to get registered. Presented by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation of Guyana.
Folks, the Nest Restaurant is the place to dine for Guyanese and Caribbean dishes. It is the best restaurant in Queens, the staff is courteous, and Dave the owner is always there to welcome you. So for a memorable dining experience, visit the Nest Restaurant located at 12717 101 Avenue, South Richmond Hill. Go and make a reservation today, or takeout, call 718-847-4035.
Welcome back to all our viewers and listeners. We're back on Globespan, and we now have the Mayor of New Amsterdam, Mayor Haywood. Mayor Haywood, welcome to the program. And we know you're late, so we'll have to do some catching up. I just asked the question, but a series of problems in the other municipalities, and you have the same thing. In New Amsterdam, I was told the roads are sinking. The trenches are clogged up with garbage. And garbage is being dumped everywhere in the streets. It's only barrel side the Stanley Tongue Cemetery is a disgrace to say. And as you know, it is overtaken with bushes, mosquitoes, and I was told even rats. How do you How do you intend to curb this problem?
Actually, you can hear me, Doc?
Yeah, we're hearing you.
Okay, thank you. All that you have been saying, it is so. And to curb these issues that we have in the town, we will have to get money. And local government, they are playing, I don't know what with us. But we are at a time that we need help where New Amsterdam is concerned. And we have found that this minister, he wants to dictate. He's a dictator. He wants to dictate what we should do when we would have already have our program. He wants us to switch. And with us in New Amsterdam, that would not work. We would not stand up for such a thing. But the money a few years ago, we would have raised our taxes. We raised it to 100%. But even though we had raised it to 100%, it is meager. It cannot support us with the work that we want to do in this town. We have problems with the interlots. I heard you spoke about the interlots. The interlots, they are clogged up. They're clogged up. We have problems with the drainage. The problem with the drainage is that before this government, the regional chairman would have lent us a machine. And as soon as they came into power, they took away the machine. So you could understand some of the challenges that we are faced in New Amsterdam. The bridges, we have 2 bridges in Glasgow that is really dilapidated. The roads are in a terrible condition. Even the streets, the roads and the streets, they are in a terrible condition. We have so many problems in this town. We are not even catching our neck so that we can address the problems that we have in this town. And I am happy that you would have decided to call New Amsterdam and the other towns or municipalities so you can hear the problems that we have in our municipalities.
This is for all 3 of you mayors. With the COVID pandemic, the city of Georgetown has lost 78% of its revenue. The city of Linden have lost 68% of its revenue. And New Amsterdam, a whopping 81%.
Yeah.
Mayor Narine, you start first. What you intend to do, how you intend to recuperate this loss, or you just have to let it go?
Well, Dr. Rose, sometimes you just have to let things go, and we still continue at a loss because we waive the interest for 2020 and 2021. It's not an amnesty. We waive the yearly interest, which is 2020 and 2021, so that people can come and pay their rates and taxes. Businesses that there was a 66 curfew and people crying out and so on. We believe that COVID-19 is a national something, and we have to deal with it at a national level. And the municipality of the city is guided by the COVID-19 gazetted order, which I do not have the authority to override, and I would not. However, I still maintain and call on the Minister of Health to bring back 6 to 6 curfew, because every single day we are rising in cases, especially in the city of Georgetown. The city of Georgetown is operating as normal, and it shouldn't. There should be more strict measures and guidelines in place for deal with COVID-19. I believe as well, we had tried our very best at the municipal markets but the gazetted order stipulates very clearly what time to what time a market should be operating from, and we have to follow that gazetted order because we can get ourselves in serious issues. With the revenue, I believe that my finance committee, which is headed by Councillor Oscar Clark and team, they're doing a fantastic job, and we try to sustain ourselves because at this point of time, all money that we receive from central government, it is 2 million Guyana dollars, equal to 10,000 US dollars we receive so far from government in fighting for COVID-19. And you're speaking with the city, the hub for the entire nation.
Mayor Arrindell, how you intend to recuperate the revenue lost? You have lost 69% of the revenue for Linden. How much the city has given you, how much the central government has given you so far? Your mic is off. Your mic is off.
Do apologize. We have received no money from central government as it relates to COVID. We've been manning that with the resources we can and getting the support from our fire station, from our police, and from the RDC. So we haven't received anything. But there is no way we can recuperate this money. The people in the township are facing the hardship. There's so many businesses that are closed, especially those persons who are working with the schools. So I do believe we're going to have to let this pass. And as we do, we'll have to find a way to have things, once things come back to some level of normalcy, we're going to have to move forward from there. But so far, I don't believe we can recuperate any of the funds we have lost.
Mayor Haywood, to you. New Amsterdam
Yes.
apparently lost the most, 80+%. Stores have closed, people are out of jobs. I was told people are actually starving, and there are more crimes because people are robbing each other in order to survive. How you intend to
Yes.
solve this problem?
Actually, what you're saying is true, and then it's going to be difficult for us to recuperate whatever we would have lost. However, last year, when it was the town's anniversary, 129 years as a municipality, we had, waived the interest from the people, and some of them came. However, this year, we will be celebrating 130 years as a municipality, and we intend to do that again to see whatever we can get. Right now, just about a few days or so, we have to get our cash to pay our salaries, and we don't know where we will have that money from because assistance is not forthcoming from the government. That's our situation.
Mayor Arrindell, there have been 14 nurses who have been removed from a school up in Linden. I think it's the Carla Rosa School or something. Up in Linden. Have you, during the midst of the nursing program, have you spoken to anyone in the government to allow these people to at least continue and finish? And then the next batch, it will be based more on a proportional basis? Because the government is claiming that this program is for all the communities up there. But Linden, it is always stacked with nurses from Linden.
It's funny. While it's not under my remit, I do apologize. It's the RDC, so most of the conversation has been happening at the RDC level. We have just intervened and sit in for conversation purposes and to make sure we understand, because this would cause definitely contribute to economic issue in Linden at this point. But it's concerning, doctor, because as I asked, who is responsible for the batch that goes in? If the responsibility of that batch is due to management, and there's a written document and system in place that says the percentage of persons who must be a part of the school, if it's 10% from Linden, 40% from Region 7, how did it become that only Lindeners or persons from Region 10 were only in the school? So that's concerning to me. But we have not looked into it because the RDC is focusing on it. But I do believe that a conversation must be had with the RDC,
Your mic is off.
I do apologize. We do know that there's a need for a conversation between the RDC, between the Ministry of Health and the local office here in Linden as it relates to that. I do not believe that any school should be shut down. If there was an excess from one space, then they just need to find a solution to that issue and to go back to the original decision that it was made with the school in the initial phase.
There's a question for all three of you, and I'm putting all three of you on the spot. Mayor Narine, what's your total income for the city of Georgetown annually? And what are your total expenses? If you don't have the figures, just say you don't have it off the head.
I have my budget here, and I am going to find it. I don't know about the other.
I do not have mine on me at all now.
See. Okay, good.
Johnson, I don't have it here.
Not in office, so I do apologize.
Okay.
It's closely to the amount is closely to 2,452,434,986.
And what are your expenses?
2,000,000,000 sorry, hold on. Let me get it right. 2,298,952,545.
So your income and your expenses are about the same. Roughly.
Exactly.
So where would you find money for development?
Now, Dr. Rose, I can point you again to a next act and the viewers. The Fiscal and Transfer Act, Chapter 7307, stated, treatment of Georgetown City Council. As a capital city, Georgetown City Council will be treated similarly in terms of the set of conditions required to be fulfilled by local authorities, but differently and separately in terms of the actual financial allocation as follows. A, it will receive 50% of its allocation automatically based on the available sum allocated by Parliament. B, Georgetown City Council formula for the balance of its allocation will be based on defined set of criteria as follows. 1, target of 60% minimum rate of collection of revenue. 2, stipulated allocation of 30% for population size. And 3, 10% for geographic location. When you do the formula according to this act, the government's supposed to give the city council closely to 600, 700 million for a year. We don't receive a dime. This is for Georgetown.
This question before coming, Charles, for all three of you. Mayor Haywood, can you tell me how you intend to solve this problem? In Amsterdam, unemployment among youths running at, and listen to this carefully, 63%. Unemployment among youths. Georgetown is running at 44%, and in Linden, it's running at 53%. Mayor Haywood, tell me first how you intend to solve this problem, provide jobs for the youths.
All right. We have a plan that we are really trying that if we could have entities so that we can provide jobs for our youngsters. It's rough on us, but we are still trying to see what we can do where our youngsters are concerned. And as we have this pandemic, it is humbugging us to work our program so we can really and truly address the problem that our youngsters have.
Mayor Arrindell?
Hi, yes. I just wanted to go back briefly. I just got my treasurer to call. So over the past 5 years, our income has been 1.3 billion, but our expenditure has been 1.5. So again, our expenditure definitely has been outweighing our income. As it relates to job and youths, that's what we're talking about just now.
Right.
The municipality Linden, Linden has been able to see a diversity of job creation over the past couple of months. We've seen persons open new businesses, and we've seen new employment that has been local that we're trying to encourage. I think COVID has brought a different mindset, and so we've seen not just here in salons, we've had persons open training, we've had persons in development of local products. So what the council is doing is setting the platform for them to become registered. We've also opened Linden to encourage investors to come into Linden to create those job opportunities that we need. There has been a spike in the tourism industry in Linden, and the creation of tour guides and kayaking and all of that has brought some sort of development to Linden. And so these are some of the areas we're looking to put to invest in. The council is also investing in some training in terms of customer service and management with young people, with businesses in the community, because we realize the direction in which Linden is going. So we're setting the platform to have those persons trained so that they can be able to take on those job opportunities that will be given once it opens up.
Charles, over to you.
Mayor, I just heard you saying that the Linden expenditure is more than its income. But as we started this program, I did mention to you that Section 204 of the Act says that your income should be sufficient to meet your expenditure. So it means that your council might have to look back at their budgeting. Maybe they need to do some cut back if the expenditure is more than its income, and especially with the COVID arrangement also, the council will have to respond to that. And I want to come back to Mayor Winifred. I know, Mayor, seem to be blaming the government, and I'm not defending anybody here, but the government has only been in office for 8 or 9 months. And I think that most of the problems you have in the council did not happen the last 8 to 9 months. It happened years and years and years ago. So to put the blame of the current government, I think is a bit unfair, because even though the revenue, as Dr. Rose mentioned, the revenue has substantially been reduced with all 3 of the municipality, the revenue also went down with the central government because everything is affected, not only the municipality. But my question to you guys is that what can you actually do together to work hand in hand with the administration? And I know Mayor Winifred mentioned that the minister is kind of a dictator or whatever. I don't know the details, but how can you guys work together to ensure that the municipality, you cannot get all the money you want at the same time? It's impossible. As Mayor Ubraj said, they have their revenue almost equal their expenditure, which is what the Act says. Now, the capital program for the council, the Act gives the council the authority to raise bonds. So bonds can be done, I guess, for capital works. And then after the work is done, the revenue that is coming in, or the taxes from that capital work, should be sufficient to pay back the bonds. What is the condition with bonds with the 3 municipalities? Maybe we can start with Mayor of Linden.
Hey, sorry, we have not looked into that as yet. But definitely something we'll think about.
Okay. Mayor from Amsterdam? Yeah.
Yes, we have not addressed that, please.
Okay. Mayor Georgetown?
Dr. Sugrim, I missed your question. Very clear. Please come clear with it. I didn't understand very clear what you meant.
Okay. Chapter 168, Section 168 of the 2801 gives the council the authority to issue bonds. And you can do that for capital works or whatever work the council approves. Have the Georgetown City Council considered issuing bonds for capital programs? And then when the work is done, the revenue or the taxes that is to be collected will be sufficient to repay the bonds.
All right. You see, that is one aspect of the bond that you make mention, the issue of bonds. where the approval is given to the city council or town council to borrow money, and it may raise the money issued by the bonds. Now, this is something that the then minister had spoke of. The then minister was Minister Bulkan, spoke of at one of our meetings. But coming back with this here, if you go down to same section 171, all money borrowed by the council with the approval of the minister, and all interest and other sum payable in respect thereof shall be charged indifferently upon the revenue and asset of the council. It come back with the Minister of Local Government and the municipality to work together. And that is what we're calling for. These things cannot happen alone with the municipality. We have a subject minister, and it's stated very clearly there in the 2801. We have to work, we have to mesh things together. We have to disagree to agree. We have to come to a consensus to move forward with this kind of investment, what you ask.
And that's what I'm saying, Ubraj, is that, you know, it's not that we are dealing with Mars and Earth. We are dealing with people within Georgetown, I mean Guyana. And I think it's try negotiation, give negotiation a chance, give dialogue an opportunity. And I'm sure that both sides, the minister might have his own, you know, objectives. The council might have their own objectives. So they have to blend it somewhere in the middle, and then we can move on. But I want to talk about the recent matter in the papers, Mayor Ubraj, where the Chief Justice dismissed the lawsuit against the city engineer because, and the Chief Justice was absolutely correct in her decision, because Section 118 and 120 of the same act gives that authority to dismiss anyone who earns above $14,000 a year. Only can be done through the local government commission. Which attorney that the council took made a decision to fire the chief engineer, knowing that the council do not have the authority to do that? Mayor Ubraj?
Well, in the same very act of the local government commission, section 13 stated also, section 34, the local government commission shall hear appeal instituted by employees who have been dismissed by any local government organs. And again, you see, when we quote in laws, Dr. Sugrim, we have to be very clear, because myself is not a lawyer. I have only a diploma in legal studies. I don't have a degree in or LLB, but it's also stated that the parliament shall eligible of a local government commission comprise of the rule which empower the commission to deal.
No, Mayor, if you don't mind. No, sorry.
I have to come to my answer very clearly.
I know. That's fine. But what I'm saying is that
the line we took is the Mr. Tenny who's team, and he fought our case. And also that day we didn't sack him, it was suspend. We actually suspend him, and there was no local government commission, right? We did not fire him or want to dismiss him. We had wanted to suspend him, because you can't be on leave as a local government officer and wanted to write letters using the council letterhead. But when the council call upon you to do work and you're on leave, you can't do it. And even on the job weekend, you can't do it. Are that making the councils and the municipality good enough for management, where you cannot even suspend an officer?
But again, Mayor Ubraj and the other mayors, that's exactly what the Chief Justice said. Despite you might have all the reason to dismiss the person, the act does not give the council, and that's the point, the authority to do that. And that's why I asked Mayor Arrindell, as the chair of the Council of Mayors, maybe that is one of the things that you can raise with the minister, to change that, to give the municipality the authority to hire and to fire the employees whenever, they're not doing the job they're supposed to do. But come back to what the act says, and to fire the city engineer through the council was illegal according to the act. That's all I'm saying.
It's not about firing the city engineer, Dr. Sugrim. It's about suspending him when there was no local government commission. And I'm happy that the city engineer took us to court so that we can clear it up. I'm happy for the ruling of the Honorable Chief Justice. Because it clear up not only for the city council but other municipalities and NDCs.
That's correct. But Mayor Arrindell and Mayor Haywood, do you have the same issues in your municipalities?
Yes, New Amsterdam, we have the same issues, but we're trying our best to see how we could understand the commission, because at first it was, it never used to be like this, but now it has changed. So we're trying our best to work with the commission. And then I think is Dr. Ross or either Dr. Sugrim would have said that, well, we need to work with the administration. Not that we don't want to work with them, but what I would like us to let a protocol be known. Let a court to see. Let court to see be there, and then we can work together.
Thank you, Mayor. And now, before you come on, we want to take a short break, and then we'll be back shortly, and then I'll ask you to come on and comment on that. Okay. We'll take a break now.
For all your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Zim Mechanical Inc. at 347-456-8885. Zim Mechanical Inc. installs boilers, hot water heaters, and cooling systems. Located at 9732 Waltham Street, Jamaica, Queens, Zim Mechanical Inc. also repairs and troubleshoots your gas, heating, and cooling systems. For quotes on prices and repairs, call 347-456-8885. Travelspan is pleased to announce Curry Duck Curry Punta Cana 2021. Yep, it's Travelspan Curry Duck Curry with an inclusive vacation, 2-in-1 on August 12th to August 16th. Special performances by Terry Godraj, Sexy Marissa, the Tassamen, and the DJs are all going to Punta Cana on August 12th to August 16th. It's fun, games, party, and curry duck curry at BIK All-Inclusive Resort. All you can eat and all you can drink. Travelspan has flights from JFK, Newark, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, and Houston directly to Punta Cana. It's Travelspan Curry Duck Curry, and an all-inclusive vacation. It's 2-in-1 on August 12th to August 16th in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. All-inclusive packages include air, hotel, transfers, all meals and drinks from $9.99 persons. Travelspan Curry Duck Curry is sponsored by allfromonesupplier.com. Dave West Indian. Call Travelspan at 212-243-0865. That's Travelspan at 212-243-0865. Or book on travelspan.com. You can now have all your groceries delivered to your home. Allfromonesupplier.com has all your grocery needs, plus all of your West Indian items. Purchase all your groceries and all your West Indian items from one place and get free delivery to your homes and free shipping. Allfromonesupplier.com has free deliveries locally in New York and free shipping to all U.S. states. Our shoppers choose the best items, packaged nicely, and delivered to your home. We have all your grocery needs and all your West Indian items, a one-stop shop. So place all your orders on allfromonesupplier.com or call 718-551-3292. That's online at allfromonesupplier.com or call 718-551-3292. Get all your groceries and all your West Indian items from allfromonesupplier.com with free deliveries and free shipping to all U.S. states.
Welcome back to our viewers. We want to thank you for staying with us as we have the three honorable mayors of Georgetown, New Amsterdam, and Lynn with us. Mayor, before I ask Dr. Rose to come on, I want to ask you as a question. The last time we had Mayor Ubraj on the program, he said that the council cannot go and demolish building. But Mayor, I looked at section 302 of the Act, and it says, subsection 21 says, to safeguard, demolish, and remove dangerous buildings, and to remove obstruction from public roads and council roads. So the council do have permission to tear down derelict buildings that is as eyesore to the council. What the other mayors have to say, Mayor Ubraj had mentioned that earlier.
Yes, for me, the council has authority. The council can do that. It can.
Mayor Waneka?
Yes, the council does have the authority. I think the problem is maybe the resources to get it done might be what holds us back at some point, and maybe how we look at the development of some businesses along our main thoroughfares. But by law, we have the authority to demolish buildings within the township.
Yeah.
Mayor Ubraj?
Dr. Sugrim, what is this section?
Mayor Ubraj, I'm not a doctor, please. I'm Charles.
Sorry.
Section 302, subsection 21. Subsection 21.
Now, I can recall this. Yes, I can recall this: to safeguard and demolish and remove dangerous building, to remove obstruction. Yes. The buildings. When you speak on the buildings, derelict buildings, we cannot go. We can just issue a order to the owner to demolish those buildings, Mr. Sugrim. We cannot go in someone's private property and just pull down those buildings. We have to take that person maybe to the court. Right? We cannot go in a private property.
Mayor Ubraj, I think your other mayors are disagreeing with you.
Right.
No, as a council, I know you cannot step in a private property and just pull down a building like that. You have to issue the notice, and there is a procedure to do that, right? And then you have to take the owner to court, and then you pull down that building.
Okay, so you agree there's a procedure. Like that. All right, one more thing before Dr. Rose come on. Yeah, okay, one thing before Dr. Rose come on. Impounding of animals. There's a lot of stray animals in Georgetown, in Linden, in New Amsterdam. The council have the authority under section 287 to impound these animals, and within 1 week to sell them if the owner doesn't come to secure their animals. What is the council doing? Mayor of Linden, Mayor Arrindell?
Yes, we do. We have the authority to. The Mayor and Town Council is now in the process of creating a pound. We have not had one for the longest while. The EPA, the Environmental Health Officer for Ministry of Health, and the RDC. And we are in the process of identifying an area to impound. And we are in community consultation for the area, because the area, of course, has housing to some extent.
But
so
Mayor, that's a dereliction of the duty of the council. The Act gave you permission years and years ago, and now you're going to look for an area for impounding?
Basically, we are now here, and it does require staffing, it does require preparation, it does require a whole host of stuff that also require finances. And it requires that we go to places like EPA because of the environmental impact it can have. So we are working on it at this point.
Mayor Haywood?
Yes, thank you. Now we have a pound. We have been pounding cows, but a problem we have is that we recognize that more people have their animals in the town. So yesterday we had a meeting in one of our constituencies, and the people there, they were complaining about the amount of cows that are in the scheme. So we are going to continue to ensure that it eases off. We even had a meeting with the higher authority, and we recognize that some of the people who have been mining their animals in the town, we need to have somewhere where these people can take their animals so they can address that. But we're working on it.
Mayor, the only authority is the city council. You don't have to go nowhere else. You have the authority to do it, Mayor Ubraj.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Mary, your mute is on, Mary. Mary, your mute is on.
Yes, I want to share a different view from my two mayors, my two learned friends there. If you read the control of animals, Mr. Sugrim, yes, we have control for these animals, but read section 292. Section 292, upon keeper shall, and when you really do the analyze what you are charging for the keep these animals, it can't relate on the budget. What you have to take care of the animal, you have to ensure you get feed, grass, you have to ensure these animals are well protected. Look at 292, the pond keeper shall, which is a council. Unless these things are upgraded,
I know.
then we can enforce these things. We can't move to expenses of the council when we got a little revenue.
Well, I know time is running out, and Dr. Rose got some questions to you, but just increase the fees for pounding to cover the cost, and then within 1 week, you sell the animal out if the owner doesn't come, and the money goes into the treasury of the city council. But that's Dr. Rose.
I totally disagree with all of you. Leave the animals alone. Everybody has a place on this earth. Leave the animals alone. If you can go and chase them away, drive them away, something. But don't impound the animals and then you get them starving for days and you don't have water and nothing to give to them. Please leave the animals alone.
Dr. Rose.
God made this earth for everybody to live on, and I love to be among animals. So leave them alone. Now, my question to you, Mayor Arrindell. Governments, past and present, have said time and time again, we are going to make Linden the gateway to the interior.
Yeah, but me account and the pleasing cause.
Mayor Arrindell, they said they're going to make Linden the gateway to the interior. Has anything been done to make this a reality or start the process?
But you can't sign in because
you ready?
Mayor Arrindell? Mayor Arrindell, you hearing me? Hello?
Sure, just
Yes.
You hearing me now?
Yes.
Mayor Arrindell, I'm not hearing you.
Everybody there? Everybody there?
Mayor Arrindell, we're not hearing you. Okay, I'm gonna go to. I'm gonna go to Mayor Narine until you reconnect, Mayor Arrindell. Mayor Narine, Georgetown has been known as the Garden City, but of late it has become the Garbage City. Why are you allowing this to happen?
Dr. Rose, due respect to you. Municipalities need to come together and work for the development of people. I ain't allowing this. The question is that their need for a solid waste act in this country, their need for a littering bylaws in this city and other municipalities, their need for strict rules and regulations to deal with garbage. We no longer want to have landfill in this country. We're a modern country and we should have a recycle plant and a national solid waste management to deal with garbage situation in our country and especially the city of Georgetown.
Okay, Mayor Arrindell, we're running out of time. You hearing me?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me
I'm
now?
hearing you, yes.
By the way, Doc, I have to leave.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for being on the program.
I have a next meeting with the mayor in China.
Okay, thanks for being on the program. Thank you for being here.
Please allow me again. I want to be on this program more often. Thank you again.
Okay, you're welcome. Mayor Arrindell, governments past and present have been saying they will want to make Linden the gateway to the interior. Has that been happening?
To my knowledge, no. I think everybody is have been saying, but nobody has actually come on the ground to have a conversation to say how we will work together to make Linden the gateway.
Before I ask Mayor, what a question? Oh, Mayor, Narine gone. Okay. Now, Mayor Haywood, New Amsterdam is supposed to be a bustling town and the capital of Berbice. But Corriverton is overtaking it right now. What's happening up there?
Oh, actually, what is happening in New Amsterdam, and maybe you won't want to hear this, things have been not happening in New Amsterdam because the bridge has been removed where it should be, so people don't come in this town anymore. But what we do know, the town is known as the ancient town, but we are trying to restore New Amsterdam to its former glory.
Okay. Final question. You all are elected for 1 year. Am I right?
Yeah.
So, Mayor Arrindell, I'm putting this to you again. That law has got to change. No mayor can go into a municipality and have a program to say, well, we're going to develop this region or this city within a year. You need to get to the government to change that and make sure that elections are held every 4 years. Agree or not agree?
Totally agree. Totally agree. It's not a something that would augur well for any development within the town. The first half of the year, you're working to see what projects you can use. The second half of the year, you're working to see if the council appreciates what you start to do to keep you there. So definitely it needs to have more time so that planning can be done. And a program can be set in place for, if it's I do believe that it should move to 4 years of a council and not 3. And in that 4 years, in the first year, you're able to create your program and your plan for how you will run for the next 4 years to move forward. In the 1 year, it definitely will not work at all.
Quickly, what message you have for the government?
Revisit the bylaw.
I'd say let's remove politics from development.
Yep.
We have to start thinking of every city and town as a nucleus in order to develop the entire country. And so if we start to look at developing those cities and towns separately, Guyana in the whole will become developed. So we have to go back to basics. We have to pick up that bylaw. We have to work through the 2801. We have to make those relevant changes, and we have to decentralize activities and leadership. If we don't decentralize, then we're not going to go anywhere.
Mayor Haywood?
I want to agree with Mayor Arrindell, and I really and truly would want our government, despite who is the government, let the government address all the areas and we would be better. Because, I'm speaking about New Amsterdam. New Amsterdam would have suffered a couple of years ago, and at this time, New Amsterdam is suffering again.
Okay. Charles?
All right, mayors. I think one of the changes I think the mayor should push is that as Dr. Rose mentioned and Mayor Waneka also alluded to, is that the council should really be there for 4 years, and the mayor should be elected for 4 years.
And be paid.
Unlike the president of the country being the executive president, the mayors in their municipality should also be executive mayors and run the municipality. Because you want to develop your community, and you're the one there, but you have a position with no authority whatsoever. But mayors, we want to thank all of you, Mayor Winifred, Mayor Waneka, and of course Mayor Ubraj, for being with us tonight. There's a lot more questions we have to ask you, but time has run out on us. But we hope to have you back sometime in the future so we can continue the discussion. And by that time, we hope that Linden indeed will be the gateway to the interior, and we can see some beautiful development there at Linden, and New Amsterdam will pick up again from the way it was when the ferry was running. New Amsterdam was a bustling town, but now, as you said, it's more like not a ghost town, but the activity is not as aggressive as it used to be when the ferry was running there. So, Mayor, in closing, anything before we wrap up tonight?
I think I want to say thanks very much.
From the current Yeah, I want to ask. I know Dr. Ross is from the quarantine. Dr.
Yeah,
Sugrim, you from the quarantine too? Oh,
No, I'm from West Demerara.
all right. That's why I was wondering. Okay. Oh, well, okay. Thank you ever so much for calling us. Take care.
Thank you. Mayor
thank
Waneka,
you.
Mayor, the chairman of mayors.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think you've opened my eyes to a lot of things that we can do, but it's going to call for unity. It's going to call for the togetherness of all mayors.
Yes.
And it's going to call for mayors to understand what the Guyana Association of Municipalities mean. If mayors can come on board, pay their dues, register with the association, and work towards moving forward, we'd see so much more happening. If we can remove politics from local government, and cannot totally be removed, but we have got to understand that local governance is a governance by the people, and allow that to grow. I do believe that we can do great things. So thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for the knowledge you have shared with us. I know we're going to keep in contact. So, because I know Dr. Rose has a lot of knowledge in local governance. We're going to be tapping into that to see how we can move forward. And Mr. Charles, I think I like the ideas and the points you have made specific to the 2801. I do believe it's not that mayors don't want to do. There's a fear sometimes of the party for which you represent. And that's why I say let's remove politics. When you have these party politics playing into leadership, you have these problems that we have now. We've got to find a way to come together as municipalities, clear that area, and work for the people.
And that's your responsibility as the chair of all the mayors, right, Mayor?
Yes.
Mayors, stick around after we close. I want to talk to you all. Go ahead, Charles.
Thank you.
Doc, anything in closing, Doc?
Thank you.
Well, I want to thank the mayors for coming, and I also appreciate their input, and they have enlightened our viewers. So we are hoping that some progress will be made, and I'm hoping that the government listen to make sure that they don't utilize all the powers. They have to decentralize power, because if the municipalities are not developed, the country cannot be developed. It's as simple as that.
Well said, Dr. Rose. And of course, to our audience out there, we want to thank you for tuning in tonight. And we want to thank Noah Singh again and Devin. And the ad we have tonight is that the government is having this diaspora conference coming up. For those of you who have not yet signed up, as a matter of fact, I signed up today to be on that link. So you can sign up and be part of that program. I think the president, the vice president, and other ministers of the government will be on the program to discuss what the diaspora and Guyana can work together, so that together we can develop our beautiful country that we call Guyana. So again, thank you, mayors. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to seeing you again. God bless your councils, and God bless our beautiful country of Guyana. Take care.